I'm packing my lunch for work, so I'm gonna be multitasking. Hello, scribes. We are in the middle of Preptober. I started my prep in September, and I am now still focusing on a very deep dive into my outline. I am making sure all my characters are set. I am changing a lot of details. And just fun fact, this was actually a manuscript I was supposed to write last year, but my job, I was traveling a lot last year with my new job, and now I have a different job where I've settled down a little bit in one place. I have more time. It's not the busy season during November or during October for me, so now I can actually finish my outline because I never actually finished it to begin with. And not only that, I was writing historical romance I did not feel prepared for. Lots of research just took place within the last 2 months. And speaking of research, I know that everybody hates this topic, AI. I actually used AI to help me in certain places where I struggled a bit in my writing process, and I wanted to talk to you about the ways that I used it to develop my story, not write my story, to develop my story. It's really, really helping me prepare. Again, not writing anything for me. I enjoy the writing part myself. So I hope this doesn't get too controversial. Honestly, I do feel that AI has some benefits to helping writers. So what have I used ChatGPT for? Scribes, I literally have to pre-pack a lot of my stuff the night before a meal plan, because if not, I will not have time in the morning to get this done. So what have I used ChatGPT for? I don't pay, I use the free version, but so far I use it for development. I definitely ask it to talk through my 3-act structure with me in a very specific and pointed way, and I ask it for examples. Like, I ask it to tell me an example of a B story and give me examples from movies if I'm writing a script, or from other novels, and it can pull that information for me. As you know, I've also done UCLA training. You can go watch my videos about that if you want to see what my experiences were like doing the certificate program for feature film writing. And I absolutely loved being able to ask my teachers questions, and that is exactly what I can do with ChatGPT. I can ask it further questions if I don't understand something. It does this really great thing where you can say, give me this beat definition of an inciting incident, and give it to me as if I was a 5-year-old, or tell it to me as if I was a teenager. It can also write already what I've got planned out for that beat, and it can tell me if it's not strong enough or what kind of detail I can introduce into it. Salad jars. Okay, next huge thing that I do is I ask it for suggestions on brainstorming titles. ChatGPT is notoriously terrible for their extra fingers in their images. Well, they're also extra terrible at titles. Their titles absolutely suck. But it doesn't mean that I can't use those suggestions and create my own thing from that, which is how I use ChatGPT pretty often. It suggests something that is absolutely terrible, but I can riff off of that, basically. It's LA, there's planes everywhere. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but I'm gonna keep going because I have to be at work pretty soon, so. I packed the wrong thing. So, the next thing you might want to do is asking it to give me comps, title comps for books, comps for screenplays. I know this is mostly for writing month. I know that I'm mostly talking about writing month, but I actually use it for screenwriting as well to give me comparative titles to something that I'm writing so that I can go and watch the movie and get inspired or see how those beats play out. So asking it to give me some comps is actually really great. It's also great if you are going to query your manuscript later on in the future, so you can kind of comparatively say which one is similar to your style of writing or to your overall story. Comps are important regardless, so I use it for comps if I can't think of anything on my own, because often I forget the titles of things anyway and I struggle to remember words half the time. So anyways, or I can go and I can get the audiobook, so hopefully it's useful to you in that way. I also ask it about topics for more insight into like historical romance information or maybe science fiction type stuff. I definitely gather a few of my questions and I make sure to asking it questions about writing a novel. Since I was not formally trained, it's just a quicker way of accessing what's already on the internet. And then later on, I can use those generative responses to do a deeper dive and using that as a reference so that I can go back to it if I ever need to. Having access to it really, really quickly without having to wade through all of the different like random websites that sometimes have nothing to do with what I asked. Just beating that and cutting it out is fantastic. So those are some of the things that I personally use ChatGPT for. Makes some things a little bit easier just for me because it's definitely helped be kind of like an interactive teacher for me. I kind of need an interactive setting. It does help me learn. It does help me get some of that instant gratification of researching something very quickly and getting back to the story at hand instead of obsessing over the perfect piece of information. So for me, using it specifically for development is helping me with my writer's voice. And that is a beautiful thing for me. I do respect everybody else's opinions, everybody else's thoughts. Feel free to be kind about it in the comments. Feel free to give me your own hints and tips and tricks that you use ChatGPT for, or other AIs for. I know there's so many that can help you build worlds now and organize your story and see that bigger picture. Okay, scribes, I've got to go to work, and I hope that you have a great outlining session. I hope that you are getting stuff done and you're getting ready for writing month.